Hello, beautiful people. It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be checking this video together. Let's check it out.
Piers Morgan has been at the forefront of exposing the lies and scandals of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle since the couple got married.
Okay.
And with the release of Omid Scobie's new book Endgame, Piers Morgan is back to dispel rumours and hold the fame-hungry Sussexes to account.
Okay.
Piers Morgan broke the internet when he revealed the names of the alleged royal racists who inquired about the skin colour of Meghan and Harry's firstborn son Archie, named by Omid Scobie in the Dutch translation of his book Endgame.
The royals who are named in this book are King Charles and Catherine, Princess of Wales.
The host justified his revelations, saying people deserve to know what had already been public knowledge in the Netherlands.
Well, last night I decided this was all ridiculous, and it was time to name the two royals implicated in those racism claims. They are, as I said last night, King Charles, Prince Charles as he was then, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. I did that for several reasons. First, the speculation was once again raging out of control, as it has for 2.5 years. Second, it made no sense that Dutch journalists and Dutch people who bought copies before the publisher withdrew them would know these names, members of our royal family, when the British people were prevented from knowing them. Thirdly, once you know the names, it becomes blindingly obvious to anyone with even half a brain that these allegations are ridiculous. Whatever your view of the monarchy, I don't think any serious person really believes that anything they've seen or heard from King Charles or the Princess of Wales suggests they have even the tiniest racist bone in their bodies, or would judge anybody according to the shade of their skin.
Piers Morgan slammed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for failing to mention the racism row in their Netflix series or in Harry's book Spare, which he released at the start of the year, but instead waited for the release of Omid Scobie's book to reignite the scandal.
And once again, it's worth remembering what Prince Harry eventually said about these accusations when he was promoting his book. And before we play the clip, just to remind you, after launching this racist bombshell 2.5 years ago, it never got mentioned again. Not in the 6-part Netflix series, which mentioned everything else in their lives. Not in the 12-part podcast for Spotify that Meghan Markle did, never mentioned. And it never got mentioned in Harry's over 400-page book. 150,000 words of stuff about his entire life, but not a mention of the supposed racism by members of his own family, which he had launched as a missile against that family on Oprah Winfrey. So this is what he said to Tom Bradby at ITN at the start of this year when promoting the book where he didn't mention it.
In the Oprah interview, you accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't. The British press said that.
Right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they were racist?
She said there were troubling comments about
There
Archie's
was
skin
concern
colour.
about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't, not having lived within that family.
God, he's such a dimwit, isn't he? He's just dim as ditch water. He literally thinks we're going to watch the clips back from Oprah and not think that she was saying that the royal family had been racist.
You know, if it were before or some other claims, people would have believed. You know why people are finding it really hard to believe? Is because how do these correlate with each other? How? Exactly how? Where is it all coming from? 1 minute they are saying one thing, the next they are saying something. So I mean, you know, if you're saying or sharing a story, you have to be consistent. Consistency is important. But of course, people find it hard to believe. Like, wait, what? Because obviously, now in this society, racism sells, victimhood sells. To get to the emotional side sells. So of course, there is always a market for it. And people are finally waking up because people now use racism loosely, lose victimhood at their convenience. So people are waking up. So people now have to differentiate, okay, and pick and choose. Okay, let us investigate this and to know your racism claim or your victimhood claim or your victim claim before they take the necessary action. What I mean, what is it or what are you saying to back it up? Gone are the days where people will believe blindly. What do you think?
How dumb does he think we are?
Exactly.
So Harry performs this dramatic U-turn. Oh, we never meant to suggest they were racist. It was the terrible British press. They were the ones who said it was racism. We just meant unconscious bias. You know what that's become a euphemism for? We actually haven't got any evidence of someone being racist. We just think it's kind of unconscious, on the sly, right? It's kind of there, but we can't prove it. It's like, we think they might be. Yeah, not good enough. Not when it comes to members of the royal family, whose reputations are on a global stage.
Yeah.
Piers Morgan also went on to question the integrity of Omid Scobie, referencing times the author lied about Piers Morgan himself.
So why should I stand back and let a proven liar like Omid Scobie, a man who claims in this book as a fact that I have regular phone chats with Queen Camilla? Regular. Do you know how many times I've spoken to Queen Camilla on the phone in my entire 58-year life? 0. Not once. It's not just not regular, it's never happened. We've never had a phone chat. So he's a liar. And he lied again about when apparently I called Meghan Markle Princess Pinocchio on that fateful last day of Good Morning Britain. Apparently Camilla immediately contacted me to thank me on behalf of the firm. No, she didn't. Another lie. Complete lie. So Scobie prepared to lie about me, about these little things, which don't really amount to a row of beans. Why should we believe anything else he has to say? All he's doing is dragging the whole royal family through the mud all over again, reigniting these racism charges because he wants to sell books and make money.
Princess Diana's former butler backed up Piers Morgan's claims, saying there are no racists in the royal family.
Again, Paul, my problem with Omid Scobie is I think he's just a scammer. I think he goes over all the stuff that's already out there and he puts 2 and 2 together and often gets 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think he'd know the truth if it slapped him round his Botox chops.
No, well, Dickie and I both have lived with the royal family for many, many years. We know all the major players. We know that there are no racists within the royal family. How could our late Queen be racist when she was head of the Commonwealth? I mean, it's just ridiculous, this conversation, because I bet this never happened. They must have dreamt it up one night. I mean, when they pressed that button on the Oprah Winfrey show, the racist button, they never pressed reset. And our dear late Queen went to her grave worrying, thinking there was some upset in the House of Windsor. Now, Harry should be ashamed of that for upsetting his grandmother, because all of this is just nonsense. And there are no racists in the royal family. Dickie, you know that.
Piers Morgan unsurprisingly agrees with the motion to strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
I think it's time we brought the Sussex circus to a formal end. Conservative MP Bob Seeley is now introducing a bill in Parliament to strip them formally of their titles. The Duke and Duchess can be Mr. and Mrs. like the rest of us, he said. Someone doesn't want to be a royal, that's a decision we respect. They shouldn't keep the titles and privileges if they trash an institution that plays an important part in our nation's life. I think he's right. And as he also says, the baseless racism claims that are now embroiled the King and Princess of Wales, well, they should be the final straw, shouldn't they?
He says the Sussex brand will become worthless without the royal titles.
Exactly.
And don't give the grifters any more grist to the mill.
But the grifters make most of their money because they have royal titles.
Of course
the American business model collapses if they're just plain Harry and Meghan. Not immediately, but it would over time. If they can't slap all over all their correspondence that they're the Duke and Duchess, it disappears.
Possibly, that remains to be seen.
However, not everyone is in agreement, with historian Sir Anthony Selden saying stripping Meghan and Harry of their titles just makes them victims and gives them more publicity.
It's because victimhood sells. What are they doing with the title? Everybody can see it. Even the Stevie Wonder can see it. What are they doing with the titles? They don't want to be working royals, but they should keep the titles. Like, make it make sense. So let's even get this straight. If they still keep the titles, or let them keep and run about with the titles because you don't want to see or let them be victim. Seriously? Victimhood is marketable. I mean, they will whine and cry and they will talk about it. Obviously, they will. Because there is a market for it. But the good thing is protecting the institution, the royal institution. Let's talk about the racism, but the racist part. You want to tell me that if one person thought of something, then everybody is supposed to think the exact same way? We understand and we get there are people who are racist, individuals that are racist, but it does not mean everybody thinks like that. And why is it that, because this racism is a problem that I am not understanding, maybe somebody should explain to me, why is it that if a white person has concerns or raises their concerns about somebody of melanated skin color or brown skin, it is racism? It is racism. But if a black person raises concerns about a white person based on their skin color, it is not. It is seen as discrimination. If a white person does the same to another white person, it is discrimination. Who is selling this? Let's say it were to be true. Because obviously, you have some things that you would be concerned about. So, racism itself, why is it convenient that some particular group of people would use it and people would believe some particular group of people? Then when some other group shares their side or talks about it, people don't believe them. Because the reason why I'm talking about this is because sometimes we see videos that circulate or fly about and you see, let's say, bullies, people bully one another, which is common thing that would happen. We're not supporting bullies, or we're not talking about people bullying, or we're not like promoting bullying and whatnot. We're just talking about people bullying each other and all of that. If a white person bullies a black person, it is seen as racism. If a black person bullies a white person, it is not seen as racism. Why are people feeding into victimhood? When are people going to grow up and realize that a person can be terrible regardless of their skin color? What are we doing? This is what we're seeing in the society, and society is breeding more of it. Yes, they don't need the titles. If they don't want to be working royals, you don't need a title. Because explain to me, if you are a CEO of a company, you are the CEO of the company and you resign, do you still get to keep the CEO title?
Purely kind of constitutionally, historically, is it even possible to wrestle the titles away from them?
Well, I'm sure it is, Piers. The question is it all worth it? And is it going to be what they want because it just makes them more out to be victims of these hateful, exploitative people in Buckingham Palace, wouldn't it just be better just to let them be forgotten and not to react? Because by reacting, by doing this, the Bob Seeley idea, I think it just makes them into victims, gives them even more publicity. There they are over all the world's headlines again as people, there must be some truth surely in what they're both saying. And I think that is not the right way to handle it. They're both clearly two very, very damaged people. They need help. I don't think they need stripping their royal titles.
Piers Morgan clashed with a guest on his show who maintained the royal family does have an issue with racism.
I appreciate that you find it personally offensive, Piers, but shall I tell you what I find concerning? That in this discussion about racism, we know that the institution has issues. We know that in 2021, we were supposed to see the appointment of a diversity czar, and I'm still waiting for that appointment.
What is a diversity czar?
Well, we can discuss that another day. Let me finish.
Title,
well, Piers, this is important.
The royal family employ a lot more non-white people
you don't want to hear it, Piers,
hang on.
do you?
It's a fact that they employ a lot more non-white people than they used to. Right? It's also a fact they remain exclusively white, other than the Meghan Markle part of it, because they were a white family.
Piers, don't shut me down on this point, because this is important for us to
You're
discuss.
distracting away from the alleged racism in this story. Trevor Phillips, who ran the big...
Do you see what's happening here?
No, I'm asking you a question about this particular topic.
I haven't finished answering your first question.
You're talking about other things.
I'm not talking about other things. I'm talking about exactly what you're referencing, the allegation of racism, and why it's important for society as a whole, for us to see that the institution is dealing with this. And I'm saying to you, where is the diversity czar?
What racism?
That we were.
What racism?
Where is the diversity czar that we were told was going to be appointed in 2021? We were told that this was such an important thing and that it was going to happen.
Where's the racism,
because
Paula?
of the concerns.
Paula, where is the racism?
The concerns that Meghan had. That's what was reported.
What concerns?
Secondly,
she didn't even hear it.
We've also
she
had
didn't even hear it. And by
But
the way, she thought it happened when she was pregnant. Harry said it happened before they got engaged.
Shouting
Which
me
one
down
is
not going to change the fact that I'm concerned.
It is not surprising, because there are some people that get paid to promote racism, to promote victimhood. It is not surprising. Diversity in the royal family. Please make it make sense. Make it make sense. If you have people who can do the job, why not appoint them to do the freaking job? Why do we need diversity in the royal family, in the institution? Why do we need diversity? What the hell is diversity? So you want to tell me that, okay, diversity over merit, over knowledge of the job, because you want to see other people that look like you, that resembles you, or what in terms of skin color and whatnot, rather than doing the job or be good at the job. Diversity. Was the royal family as an institution built on diversity? I have no word. I have no words, because obviously, if it's not victimhood, it is racism. Then the crazy lunatic talk of diversity. Diversity, they need to be diverse. Rather than doing a good job or doing an incredible job, we need to see more diversity. Diverse. I rest my case. But obviously, they are not wrong. They are damaged people. They need help. And also the title. Because look at what they are doing with the title. Because if they had stripped them of their title before now, anything they do is on them. But obviously they still have the title. So anything they do is also going to fall back to the royal family. Or what do you think? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I would really love you to share that. Can share the useful information I think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next